Welcome to game night, my friends. You're watching Brad's on a Map, and tonight we're playing Wingspan. I play games live and unscripted so that you guys can hear all my thoughts, my strategies, and my table talk. My goal is to give you the confidence to try these games out for yourself. Maybe you'll even decide to host your own game night. If you're here live on Twitch, you're part of the table tonight, so join the chat. And if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. Let me know what moves you would have done differently. If you enjoy these playthroughs, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Brad's on a Map. I also share highlights from every game on Instagram and TikTok, so if one of those makes you laugh or rethink a strategy, pass it on. And with that, it's time for Wingspan. Let's see how well I actually read the rulebook. All right, let's take a look at some games in progress here, and we'll walk through the basics of this game. You can see how popular this game is, 8,000 games in progress. Let's do one that's a little more in progress here. 13, 11, 19 sounds pretty good. Let's check this one out. So the basic idea of this game is we are ornithologists and we are creating our own bird sanctuaries. Essentially, all we're doing is attracting these birds to our habitats and trying to foster the best habitats as we can, and whoever has the best habitat wins. What do we mean by best habitat? So this game works off of victory points, and there's just basic things that you're going to do throughout the game, and we'll walk through them all, and you're just going to accumulate points as you go. Let's start with playing the birds themselves. So you can see over here you got 4 options for moves. You can play a bird, gain food, lay eggs, or draw bird cards. So the bird cards themselves, can I highlight some of these? Buffering, there we go. The bird cards themselves have some really cool flavor text on them. You can see this feather logo right here. That's how many points this card is worth on its own. So the second you play that card into your sanctuary, you get 3 points. But there's a lot of other ways that you're going to gain points too. So one of the things that we'll notice here is the 3 symbols up top, the blue water, the yellow grass, and the green trees. Those are the different types of habitats that this bird can live in. So if we kind of zoom out a little bit here and look at our player boards, we'll see 3 different sets of habitats. So you have this top green one right here. These are tree-dwelling birds. Middle one right here is, you know what, I don't even care. I forget what it's called, but just call them like grassland birds. Sometimes I don't even think about the words behind the iconography. And then finally we have water birds down here. So why would you play one into a specific category? Because this game is what's called an engine builder. So the more birds you have in a category, the more power you're going to have when you activate that category. So this top green category right here is the gain food category. The more birds you have in here, the more advantages you're going to get when you take the gain food action. You need food to actually attract the birds and put them into your habitat. So if you want some big heavy birds that require a lot of food, you might want to put some in your tree habitat here, because you're going to get to do a lot of really cool gaining food power-ups. The second one here is, can I pause this? This is going really fast. No, it doesn't look like I can. Well, hopefully it's not too distracting how fast this game is moving. We're not going to be playing at super speed like this. The second habitat is for laying eggs. Eggs are sort of like the currency in this game. One of the main ways that you're going to use eggs is, you can see here in these columns, as you add more and more birds, you're going to need eggs to pay for them. But you have to have birds with nests to even get those eggs. So consider this your currency field. And then finally, we have the draw birds card. So you have to have these bird cards in your hand before you can play them down. The draw birds field, the more you have in here, the more cards you're going to get to draw at one time. So you can see how on the basic side here, we have single icons, and then we have double icons, and it goes up to triple. That's generally how it works. Is in the very basic row, you're going to take one of these actions. And then once you have one bird, you'll be able to take the second column, which is take one action and then an optional second action. This is going way too fast. I don't like this. I'm going to switch to a different one because that was annoying AF. Let's find a more chill game here. I don't care about server errors. This isn't my game. So the more birds you have in this row, let's say we're talking about this lay eggs row, the more actions you get to take in the lay eggs field. There, he just played a second one. So now when he plays when he chooses the lay eggs action, he's going to get to activate it from this third column right here, because he's already covered these 2. So he's going to get to do a lot of cool stuff. So the first thing he'll get to do is he'll get to lay 3 eggs down. The next thing he'll get to do is whatever power is on this bird. So you can see here, every time he activates his bird, he can discard an egg from somewhere on his board, and he can gain food from supply. So remember how I said eggs are like currency? So this is a good way for him to have really good flexibility in the food that he uses to attract other birds. So lay 3 eggs. Activate this bird, which lets him discard an egg and then gain a food. And then this is a between turns card, so we won't get to do it every turn, but it's another action that I'll take. So as we go through this, we're going to add more and more bird cards into these columns. And as the game starts, things are going to be moving pretty slow. We're just going to be getting a little bit of food, drawing a couple of bird cards, and laying a couple of eggs. But as the game progresses and we start covering up some of these closer columns, we're going to have some really powerful actions. We're going to get a crap ton of food. We're going to get these intermediate powers that let us exchange that food for eggs or vice versa. And the game really escalates as we go. So those are your basic actions. So what is our motivation here? How do we get points? The most basic way is laying the bird, so you can see each bird will say how many points it's worth. This actually has really good tooltips that tells you what each one of these icons means. I think that's really helpful. So this bird is worth 3 points. You also get points for a secret end of game objective. Can I highlight this card right here? Well, I can show it when we get into our game, but so everyone has their own secret end of game objective where they're going to be looking for specific types of birds, and those birds are going to be worth more points to them. I'll show you that once we start the game. And then there's also these mid-round objectives. So this game is played in 4 rounds. After every round, there's a specific objective that we're going to score points for. So this one right here is birds in the water section. So that's this bottom. So whoever has the most of these is going to get the most points. So that's just like a quick target for the first round of the game. And then we change that target for the second round of the game. So this one will be worth most points for birds in the grasslands. This third one is sets of eggs in each habitat. And we don't need to go through all these, but the idea here is there's different targets for each section of the game. So you're going to get big chunks of points based on how you do for each round. And then at the end of the game, we'll look at our final scoring cards, and we're going to add up all of those totals. And we're going to get these big point totals, and whoever has the most points is considered to have the best bird sanctuary, and they win. What else can we talk about here? Let's talk about food. When you gain food, you can see these look like dice right here. That's because we roll these dice into this little bird feeder. Well, I guess it's a bird house, isn't it? That doesn't really make sense, does it? So we're going to roll these dice into this bird house, and then you have to choose from the available food. So if I were to play this action now, I would only be able to choose fish. There's a caveat though, which is, as you just saw, you get to re-roll occasionally. So once there's only one type of food in there, then you have the option of re-rolling. So you don't have complete control over the food you want. So you may look at a bird and we may say that this bird right here that I'm highlighting requires a grub or a wheat. Just because that bird wants that doesn't mean you take the gain food action, you get that automatically. You have to take it out of this food column right here, and so it wouldn't be available. So maybe we don't want to target that bird unless we have that food already. Laying eggs is kind of self-explanatory. You just have to lay it somewhere on a bird with egg available in its nest. So I'm hovering over a bird right now that you can see has 5 potential egg slots. This bird has 2. This bird actually has none. So it has other benefits, but it doesn't give you a chance to lay any eggs to get that currency and use it later in the game. Drawing bird cards, you get 1 of 2 options. You can blind draw off the top of the deck. You can see there's 138 cards left in this deck, or you can take one of these 3 face up. Anything else? Let's see. We'll talk about these little round counter or these round markers as we go, but that's for the basic layout of the game. You can see a lot of iconography here, and it seems like there's a lot going on. It's a game where you're going to play 1 round. At the end of that first round, it's going to make a ton of sense exactly what you're going to do. So let's shift back over to, well, let's find it. Wingspan. Let's see if there's a game in progress here. So we want a real-time game. Let's jump in this game right here. This might be a long one, but that's okay. So we just jumped in a game. 4 people in this game. Just waiting for one guy to confirm. Come on, Farzar, we're waiting on you. This is my favorite part of streaming these live, is waiting for these games to start. Yep, that guy backed out. What a jerk. So we'll stay here, and hopefully this game will start back up in a second because we just booted him. Boom, right back in it. Very helpful. So I'll accept. Now we're ready to start. So the first thing I'm going to do is choose my starting hand. You can see I have 5 bird cards available, and I have 5 food available. So I have 1 of each types of food. I need to keep 5 total. So the first thing I'm going to do is choose the bird cards I want and then discard a few more. So you can see there's 10 total, 2 and 3 and 2, a good split between food and birds is usually a good way to start out. Let's look at these first round markers here. So our early goal is eggs in platform nests. Do I have any of those? I don't have any of those. That sucks. What about this one? Birds in ground nests. I have one of those, so maybe I'll keep this guy. He's worth good points and he doesn't eat a lot of food, so that's good. What else do I want here? Those bowl nests. Ooh, I got lots of bowl nests. So let's do this guy. He's got a good activation power as well. And so I can either take, well, I can do whatever combination I want, but I can either do 2 birds and 3 food or 3 birds and 2 food. So I'm looking at this 2 birds I have right now, and it looks like they take 3 total food. Although I can't use that food. Interesting. So I'm gonna need 1 more food anyway. Let's do this guy. He's worth a lot of points. So I'm gonna keep 3 bird cards, and now I need to discard 3 food. Always pay attention up top here. It's kind of weird, so I just kept these cards, and now I'm selecting the food I want to discard, so I'm not selecting the ones I want to keep. So that's a little confusing, but just double check things before you read it. And see, I just did it. So I want to keep the grub and the wheat, so we're going to click U and discard this 3 selected, because the birds I'm keeping want those things. Perfect. So that's my starting hand. I got 3 bird cards. Eventually I'm going to play them down into my sanctuary here. Where's my sanctuary? My sanctuary is up top. Eventually I'm going to play them down into my sanctuary. But like I said, so we have these mid-round goals, and then we also have these end-of-round goals that are just for us. So birds with body parts in their names. Does that sound interesting to me? Do I have any yet? No. Bird cards in hand at the end of the game. I don't like that. Interesting. Let me scroll up and see my time real quick. 1 minute. All right, I don't like having cards in my hand at the end of the game, so I'm going to keep the anatomist card, which is chasing birds with specific body parts. So if I get 2 to 3 of those, I'm going to get 3 points at the end of the game, and if I get 4 more, I'll get 7 points. And there's also some bird cards that when you play, you'll get to draw another one of these final scoring cards, and those can be a huge benefit. Let me zoom out a little bit here and try and get more on the screen there. Okay. Let me know if this is legible. Actually, let me go back. I changed my mind. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, I get these 4 total actions. I can play a bird card, I can gain a food, lay eggs, or draw bird cards. So playing a bird is taking a bird out of my hand, placing it on the player board. These other 3 correspond to activating these entire rows. So the first thing I want to do is get something on the board. So I'm going to play this bird card right here. So I need to pay 1 grub for that. I have that because I kept it. So I'm going to confirm my food cost here. And then you're going to see that bird is going to get played into my habitat. And now I have 5 points. And now I'm winning. Confirm my turn. This is a normal speed game. I'm on the fence about switching to slow speed games just to give myself a little more time to talk. But this game is actually really good at giving you time in between turns. So this game is what is sometimes called multi-handed solitaire. So I don't really have to worry about what other people are doing too much. I'm really just focused on what's available and what I want to do next. So what I want to do next is get these 2 birds in play. I don't have enough food. So this guy needs 2 grubs. I don't have that. This guy needs 2 wheat, or I guess that's seed. Interesting. This guy needs 2 seed. I only have 1 seed. So probably the next thing I'm going to do is take the gain food action because I see lots of seed, these brown looking things in the bird feeder. These guys are going fast. Cool. And you can see I have these little cubes that represent how many actions I have left in the round. And we're actually going to use that to determine where we are in our turn and what we're currently doing. So playing a bird is easy. It just goes up top here. But I'm about to play food, and you're going to watch how the round or the action marker moves through my board. Okay, real simple. I'm going to gain food. Actually, let's look at this. You can see how if I wanted to draw a bird card, I would get to activate this column and then this column because I played a bird here. But we don't want to do that yet. So let's gain food. Let's do the strategy we talked about. We need another seed for this guy. We're going to play a little defensively here. So this is optional. This is a seed die, and this is seed or grub. So we're going to be a little greedy. We're going to take the one that has flexibility because we don't want someone else to have that flexibility. And now we'll see I have 2 seed and be able to afford that bird next time. And I don't know if you guys saw, it went kind of fast. It'll be clearer in a couple of turns. Confirm. The first thing it did was place that little marker right here on this open space to indicate that just what that tooltip says, I can take 1 food from the bird feeder. After you cover that, you get to do the next open column and then whatever bird's on here. So let's think about the draw bird card. The first thing I do is take my little cube here and I would place it here, which lets me draw a card. And then I have the option of getting rid of an egg off of my player mat, which I don't currently have any, to draw a second card. So a little more powerful than just drawing one. So I execute that, and then I move my marker here, and I get to do whatever activates this bird. This looks like a party bird, so everybody gets to draw a card. So people might like me for that one. But the more birds I have in this row, the more actions I get to take as I click that cube throughout the row. You see, things are moving fast. I'm not super worried about what everyone else is doing. It's cool playing online. I can see how many people are scoring towards that round one goal. Remember, we're looking for birds in these platform nests. No one has any of those yet, so I'm not super stressing it. I'm gonna start thinking about that and playing for it, but if I don't see those pop up, I can always just say screw it. I might just punt on that one. Okay, we got the food to pay for this bird, so let's play this bird. Confirm my food cost. You can see it's highlighting where I'm gonna place it. Some of these birds can go in multiple habitats, like this guy right here. So it would ask me to select exactly where I'm gonna put it. But this one only has one option. So I'll confirm that food cost. I lose my 2 seeds that I had here. Now I get to play that bird down. Now the next time I do food, I get to not only take that 1 die, but I also get to optionally exchange a card out of my hand for a second food die, and then whatever this tooltip says here, which doesn't want to hover all of a sudden. There it was. Crazy lag, didn't like that. Okay, then the second option I'll take when I do that is tuck a card from my hand behind this bird. So that's gonna be worth a point at the end of the game, so that's cool. And if I do that, I also gain 1 seed from a supply. So we're starting to get this engine built up now. So it sounds like now I wanna get lots of bird cards in my hand, and I can start targeting birds that have seed cards because I have a way to easily print seed, did I say seed cards, seed food, whatever. Because I have a way to easily gain seeds as I go throughout the game, even if they're not available in the bird feeder. So I'm starting to think ahead, and I'm starting to build my engine of how I want to layer some of these early birds' powers onto what I want to do as the game progresses. Okay, my turn again. I need bird cards. I want to use this, but I don't have any eggs. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lay 2 eggs. I'm going to do this one right here, because then on my next turn, I can gain 2 bird cards. I can gain 1 for free, and then I can exchange one of these eggs that I'm about to lay down for a second bird card. And then I'll start to get some flexibility going. So let's lay eggs on birds. As we can see here, now that I have 2 birds down, I can afford that. Don't think it matters where I put the eggs right now. Sometimes it will. So you can see here, if we get to the 3rd round, having eggs in these are good. So let's do that. Let's put them here at first and make sure that's maxed out. And then we know in the future that we'll take eggs from elsewhere, because in get to round 3, we want to have the most eggs in the bull nest. Not birds with bull nests, but total number of eggs. So you can see here it says on the tooltip, I have 2 items that count towards that. So I'm jumping out to the front there. So let's confirm that turn. I could scroll down and do a little tableau watching here and see what everyone's working towards, but I'm not super worried about it. Although I can look at this and say that no one even has any platform nests. So that's a bull nest. That's a kind of nest is this. Cavity nest, that's interesting. That's a bull nest. This guy actually has a wild card nest. This is cool. So we'll see as we go. When you see that star icon right there, this nest type counts as any type of nest. So I might keep a lookout for one of those in here as well. There's a platform nest, but that boy is kind of expensive. I gotta remember, I only have 4 actions left this turn. So I don't know if it's a smart tactic to try and get that guy down, because I'm not gonna have enough time to get the food to pay for him and play him down and put eggs in there. So I think I'm already about to punt on this round 1 goal. It's just not, I just don't have the cards for it. You can see here, it doesn't really matter that much. So first place is gonna get 4 points. That's probably gonna be that wild card guy we saw. Second place only gets 1 point. So especially in this early round, if I get 3rd or 4th here and I don't get any points, it's not the end of the world. But let me start thinking about my next turn here. I probably want to do the gain birds. I want some flexibility here. Hopefully by then this will get re-rolled and I can see what food is available in the feeder. So let's draw a bird card. So again, that's this blue action. This time we'll actually be able to see it live. So let me click draw bird cards, and it's going to take the little cube from here and it's going to place it right here as I execute it. Maybe it'll do it after I execute it. Do I like any of those? I don't like any of those. I'm going to draw from the deck. There we go. Now you can see how it's placing it here to indicate that this is the action I'm currently taking. So I did the top part, now I can do the bottom part, which is exchange an egg. I will click the egg I want to get rid of, and then it's going to allow me to draw a second bird card. So that guy is actually good for the second round. This guy that I just drew, this American woodcock. I also need to start remembering to get birds with body parts in their names. Do any of these have it? Red-bellied, that guy has it. So let's grab him. So I don't want to forget about this down here. So I need birds with body parts in their names. He's going to count towards that. Now everybody gets to draw one from the deck. You're all welcome. This game can also be fun thematically. You don't have to, obviously winning is great, but like you don't, I know plenty of people who play this game and they just choose birds that speak to them. You look at the card and you're like, this house finch is really cute. This red-bellied woodpecker, I'm not jiving with him. I don't like that his beak is blue or something like that. And you just get like, invent your own motivation. And a lot of really thematically rich games can be like that. We're starting to get towards the end of the round, so things are slowing down a little bit. That's good. That gives me a little more time to think. So this red-bellied woodpecker, I need to get down eventually, but not till the end of the game. So I'm not super worried about doing that immediately. I do see here that I have some extra cards, so maybe I activate this section right here, which lets me take one food, and then I can discard one of my extra cards to get a second food. Of course, that guy draws a platform nest. Mother effer. Do I want to try and snipe that? What is this? Foster's turn. Because that's a wild card nest. That might be valuable. No. Because I want to remember that I can gain a point for tucking a card behind this guy, and I can gain an extra seed. So let me target a bird that requires seed. Cool. So I'm going to roll the dice here, literally and figuratively. I'm going to gain food. My goal is to play this American woodcock. So let's click gain food. First thing I'm going to do is take the grub he needs. Now, like I said, I can, first I will discard a card to then play him. So who do I want to discard? That's another tuck. Interesting. I kind of like you though. It's only worth 3 points though. Is the bull coming up? I'll get rid of this guy. Maybe it's the wrong. I'm between these two, but I don't want to spend all my time thinking about it. So I'm electing to discard that. Now it's letting me take another food. Now remember, because there's only a single type of food in here, they all match. Matching because there's only one, I can re-roll. So I know I'm going to get, I just got the grub. I know I'm going to get the seed in my next action. So I'm going to re-roll here and hope that I get a grub. Yes, perfect. So I'll take that. I'll grab my grub. So I got the 2 grubs he needs. And now I'll confirm my dice and we'll see the cube move over to here. And now I can tuck a bird behind this guy. I don't know why I was between 2 cards when I realized I had to discard 2 anyway. So now I'm going to tuck behind him, confirm that. That gets me a point you can see here at the end of the game. And remember, because I did that, I also get a seed card. Or a card. I also get a seed token. Let me confirm my turn because I'm running out of time. So you can see here how we're starting to plan out these more complex turns. So all I saw in the bird feeder was 1 grub. I knew I needed a grub, and I needed 2 grubs and a seed in order to feed this guy to put him into a habitat. So I realized that I'm going to get 1 grub by playing this action. And then because I could reroll, I knew there's a pretty good chance that I'd get at least 1 grub there as well. Board Gaming Bud, thank you. I appreciate the support. I don't know how well this is going to go because as I discovered last week, I spend a lot of time thinking through and talking and articulating on the screen. So we'll see how well my strategy actually works. But I'm okay with that. It's the same thing when you teach a game. Focused on everyone else having a good time and understanding what's going on and maybe being brave enough to play this game themselves without me in the future. And to me, that's worth more than getting a few extra points and winning this game. 2 actions left. So I know I'm going to play that guy. So let me think about, while I'm waiting for my turn, let me think about which section I want to play him in. I do have an egg here. I'm a big fan of getting lots of food first. So my options are I can put him here, which lets me just get 2 food selections on my next turn as opposed to get 1 and then discard a food to get a second one. Or I can put him here, which is going to give me 2 eggs and the option of exchanging a food for a 3rd egg. I'm big on food early, so I think I'm going to put him in this top section here, and that's going to be some good points to start the game with. Now, end of game still matters as well, but I think we're off to a good start in terms of our total points on Tableau. Okay, let's play this bird. I can either click play a bird up here, but it's also smart enough to realize that if I click the bird, it knows I want to play it. So now, because this guy has 2 possible habitats, it asks me to choose which one I want to use. So I'm going to choose the forest. Now you can see the animation here. To play into this column, I need to pay an egg, which I had. So I'm going to do that. You can see I've got the food cost in here. If I was playing in real life, you have these little tokens in your hand and you just turn them in. But when you're playing online, I just click confirm, and now I put that big boy down, and bam, now I have 18 points. Eat my dust. Eat my shorts. Now remember, I'm always keeping track of how many actions I have left this round. I only have one left. So that's why I was saying earlier, I saw a couple of these, and I was like, oh, I could work towards this guy, but it's an action to select him. It's probably a minimum of 1, if not 2 actions to get the food to pay for him, and then a 3rd action to lay him down. 4th action to put an egg on him. So is it really worth it to try and get a point here? Also, what's funny here is they're going to split these points. So they're not even going to get a huge bonus. Let's see if this hovers. Yes, this kind of scoring is not friendly. So they're tied for first. So they're going to split those points. Technically, they're splitting 5, 4 plus 1 rounded down. They're going to get 2 points each here, not 4. So now it definitely doesn't matter because nobody's gaining 4 points on me. I do not care about getting 0 here. Sometimes you just have to see that the cards aren't there for a particular strategy and just move on. So I started thinking about this one. So I played a bird with this ground nest. Actually, I have 2 birds with ground nest. So I'm actually in a good spot here for the second round goal. And then I have 1 bird with a bowl nest. So I'm starting to make my way onto these 2. Not doing great for round 4, but we'll get there. Still plenty of game left before then. You can see people take a lot more time now. This game was going pretty fast, but now people have more options and they need to start thinking through. So everything I've been saying, like if I do this, I'm going to get this food, I can reroll, hopefully get this other food. So they have to go through all their calculations in their head. And that's why they're going to start using more time as we go. I'm waiting for the game where I get actual comments in the chat that says, why are you taking so long? If you guys watched my last video, we saw that everyone else playing the game, their average thinking time was like 8 minutes and mine was like, so they probably didn't love that, but the game didn't take too long, and I have other motivations here besides playing fast and getting to the end of the game. Also remember that these games play really well asynchronously. So we're playing a real-time game here where we have these timers that are like less than 4 minutes and they count down really quickly. You can play these games where you set it to 2 turns a day. And you just check in between meetings at work and you see if it's your turn and you play another one down. Really low stress, and it's a great way to kind of brain in the middle of a workday. So I forgot to think about what I was trying to do here. I think the safest option is to get some eggs because I'm not worried about that round goal. So let's just get a couple eggs. And so actually I'm going to put them here and here because my second round goal, which is what I'm now thinking about, is birds with eggs in ground nests. So you got to read these carefully. So this isn't total birds. This isn't total eggs. This is distinct birds of this type that have eggs. So as I'm laying my eggs, I want to start working towards those. And we're going to see as this round ends, it's going to show me probably winning in this round 2 marker. Another thing to note, these markers are going to come from our little action cubes here. So how many actions do we have that first round? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to take one of these cubes and we're actually going to place it here as the scoring marker for that round. That only leaves us with 7 cubes, so you only get 7 actions in the second round. So the game actually escalates. It speeds up as you go. You're doing more things on each turn, but you get less total turns. Okay, so we have our bird card here for this anatomist, this red-bellied woodpecker, so that's going to count towards it. And you can see here, these tooltips are so helpful. It literally says the percentage of birds in the deck that'll get you that bonus. So the odds of randomly drawing one is 1 in 5. And then it shows me the total birds I have counting towards it and how many points I'm getting. Super helpful. So you can see how we're actually taking these cubes off of our player mats and putting them into that round marker. And now we only have 7 actions for this round. I need food. Dang it, now I kind of wish I'd played this American woodcock here so I can put this guy here because I need to start getting birds in there. So do I take that food or do I look at some of these guys? Mourning dove doesn't help me. Pileated woodpecker, northern flicker. None of these are freaking anatomical. It's 1 in 5, yet none of these are on here. The discard's not actually available, though that'd be cool. Draw bird cards. Let's just get some cards. I'm going to draw from the deck for my first one. Belzeviria. Where are all the cards? Oh, it's a wild nest though. Okay. I didn't hate that. Let me get rid of, let me select an egg, and then I'm going to draw another one. Darn it. But this guy's going to help me for the second, or the last round. Screw it. None of these are inspiring me, so I'm just going to draw from the deck. Common Loon. All right, this isn't going great in terms of my end of round. So just to repeat here. So first I drew this card, then I exchanged an egg for a second card. Now I move the cube down, and now I activate this bird, which lets everybody draw a card. And hopefully this card, knock on wood, is an anatomical bird. My connection seems to not be stable. Please don't count against my time. There we go. Double crested. That doesn't sound anatomical. This is bullshit. All right, well, now I'm starting to hope I get a card that gives me a second and a game scoring, because definitely not getting 4+. I'll be lucky to get 2 and 3. Actually, I take that back, because I've already got one in my hand, and I just need one more at the end of the game. So probably not going to lean heavy into this, because I'm not getting lots of cards off the bat that are going to help me out. There's other things that I think I want to focus on. I only have seconds for my next turn. So let me figure this out quick. I don't have any food, so that makes it easy. I need to get food. Depending on what is available in the food tray, I will grab both of those or re-roll. I'm not getting the bird cards today, guys. I'll do my best, Lord Xeon. I don't know if I got this. I don't mind games like this, though, like luck involved. I think a good game should have a good balance of strategy and luck. Like, I like a game where I'm doing the math in my head. Okay, the cards in the deck meet the criteria for this end of game card. I've just drawn like 4 and I haven't gotten one. It's a little unlucky, but that's okay, because you want a little bit of variability. You want a little bit of suspense. If everyone is just doing what they know they can do, then it just becomes too procedural, and there's no tension. There's no, everyone's kind of together to see how it's going to unfold. Thank you guys for being in the chat, by the way. I really appreciate it. The chat is a little more active. I will put the chat up on the screen, and we can all interact together. But obviously, it's going to take a while to get people in there to actually have a viable chat. But no worries. I can still see your comments, and I'll respond to them. Once it's a little more lively, we'll put it on the screen so everyone else can see it as well. Okay. Definitely want this grub. So let me click gain food. Okay. I'll explain why I just sighed in a second. So I put a bird card down here that doesn't have a separate action, which is a bit of a bummer. What am I going to do? I don't like these effing cards at all. Let me take the cherry. I'll figure out something to use it for. I got this bird over here that you can see allows for a wild card. I'm going to put this one down. Oh wait, sorry. First I got to confirm my dice selection. Now the cube is going to move to here. Nothing happens on that bird. Now the cube moves to here. Now I'm going to tuck another bird. I'm always going to tuck birds because that's just stacking points as the game goes on. So which of these do I like better? These are pretty much the same, except this guy doesn't count towards my second round goal. So let me tuck this guy. That's going to give me another point because he goes behind here. And I get a wheat for doing that, as the ticker gets angry at me because I'm taking too long. Yeah, but I hope people enjoy hearing the thought process. I feel like that's something that's a little different that I don't see in a lot of playthroughs. And that is because I'm not playing against somebody in front of me, although I do have some plans to kind of that work. But I think a lot of the playthroughs that I see, well, first of all, they're on the actual physical game. So you don't see things like tooltips. You don't see these cool counters here to show what everybody has, which is really easy to reference. But it also aren't articulating their inner thought processes, and it can make it hard for other people to understand how accessible this game is. Engine builders can be really intimidating the first time you do it, but it's actually really fun. But you got to be with someone who's willing to explain how to build an engine. And if everyone is just heads down focused on what they're trying to do instead of the gates for new people, then it doesn't feel more accessible, and then people get intimidated by this game. Gaming Bud and I were actually just talking offline earlier that this is probably the heaviest game I'll play on these streams because a lot of recreational gamers find Wingspan to be a very heavy game. It is not even the midpoint in terms of heavy games if you want to jump into the deep end. But I think the reason people find it heavy is because there's a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to some of the heavier ended games. Let's put a bird down here. Do I have the 2 grubs? Oh. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. I want more grubs. Give me all the grubs. So I had a plan, but that was such a good roll for grubs, and I have so many grubby boys that are hungry that I'm not going to do it. So now I'm going to tuck this common loon again. Now I think I'm in good shape, because now if you look, I need 2 grubs to pay for this guy, a grub or a seed to pay for this guy. I've got food coming out of both ends here, so I'm in really good shape there. So I had things I wanted to do on that turn, but the way things unfolded with the dice that were rolled there, which is random, that was in my favor. Now these flops that we're seeing of these birds have not been in my favor. Let's see, do any of these have anatomical parts? No. No. I don't know where they are. Maybe everyone else has them. But it seems like I'm going to be focused on just laying down birds and getting lots of points that people are going to catch up at the end for their final round scoring cards. Because I don't think I'm getting a ton of points for this anatomist card right here. I think I got to take this next turn fast, guys. Only got 30 seconds left, so I need eggs. Oh no, because I can play this guy here. He doesn't require an egg. So let me play him first, which is good because that's going to help towards my end of round scoring. Remember, it's birds with this type of nests, and that's a wild card nest. So I could get 3 for that. You can see first place is currently tied. We each have 1. That's because I took this egg out. So I'll put that guy down. Then I'll lay some more eggs. And now we'll use even more engine building because you can see once I have that, now if I take the lay eggs action, I get 2 eggs. Plus I can take a food. And you guys saw I just got a crap ton of food. I'll probably take this cherry right here. That gives me a 3rd egg. So we're going to start building here pretty quickly. And this game is going to start to escalate, which is when it gets fun. Playing in person, it's not always fun because you'll have people who are just staring down for like 5 minutes. And that's when I YouTube the Jeopardy theme song because they're kind of getting on my nerves. I get it. We all want to make optimal turns, but you also want to be respectful of the other people at the table. Especially, this is a 4-player game, so this game could take, especially with new players, this game could take 2+ hours to play in person. And cutting your turns down by 30 seconds over the course of 20, 30 turns over the game can make a huge difference there. All right, let's play a bird. I'm going to play this guy right here. You can see, again, he has 2+ potential habitats. But once we look at round 4, I want to start playing for that habitat. So I'm going to put this guy here. He takes 2 grubs. You can see that it's going to auto-verify that I have that. Really easy turn. Ah, says a when played. Yes, you freaking lifesaver. Remember what I just said, guys. There's some cards in here that give you different final game scoring. And mine, this anatomist, isn't doing crap for me, so let's look at these. 2 per bird with historian name. I have 1 bird already. Do I have another one queued up? No. Birds in your habitat with the fewest birds. I kind of like that one. So I'm going to confirm that and I'll explain that. So what that means is, so right now my habitats with the fewest birds are these 2. So take either one, has 1 bird, and I would get 2 points. So now my motivation is to build up kind of evenly here. If I can get all 3 habitats with 3 birds, then my minimum bird containing habitat has 3 to 6. So that's 6 points on top of these 3 that I'm trying to get here. Now there's a trade-off here. So that bird gives me some good end of game scoring opportunity. But you can see his bonus is when played, not when activated. So I get that once and it's done, as opposed to something like this, where every time I play this bird, I'm going to get that power again. It's a weaker power, but I get to do it more often. This bird feeder is really fun to use in real life. It's a dice tower, but you like put the dice in the back here and then it rolls out. It's kind of fun. I like it. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Pay attention, Brad. I can choose one from the bird feeder. Who needs what? Do I have my grubs? I do have a grub. I'm gonna grab a rat. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. I'm probably gonna burn that food. Don't want to waste my timer for that. You guys should be able to hear the sound on the window, but I have it kind of turned down locally, so I didn't hear a, hey Brad, pay attention. You're getting a bonus for someone else's turn. So just like every time I do this action, all players draw a card. That was one where essentially what was happening is someone did something and then we went round robin around the table and everyone gets to choose one of the available food dice in the bird feeder. Okay, I only have 1 bird card. He's gonna go in there. That's not helpful. So I need cards that go in yellow and blue. Maybe I lay eggs first. I think I lay eggs first. So if you're ever unsure of what you want to do, I don't necessarily like the food out there or the birds available. I can do some bookkeeping stuff I need to do, like grab eggs and then hope that I get a better look right here. What is this? Sandhill crane. Still, this is wild. Still not an anatomical bird, but I do like that bird. That's a double tuck bird too. Interesting. So let me draw some bird cards. I think it's time to draw some bird cards. Sure, take that guy. I don't know why he's speaking to me, but he just is. I'm not going to discard. I'm going to draw one. Yes, I am. I'm going to discard to draw one more, and I'm going to draw from the deck. I'm going to stack eggs towards the end of the game. Great Crested. Does that count? I don't think that counts. This is freaking ridiculous, man. Oh wait, counts toward Anatomist. Yes, I love that. Now everybody gets to draw a card. Counts, Cartographer. All right, we're back in business, guys. Now I got 3. And these go towards my yellow and blue habitat, so we can start stacking those up. All right, Brad's luck has turned around. I have no idea if my luck has turned around. I got 2 actions left. One of them is definitely going to be to do some lace. The second one is going to be probably lay a bird. Doesn't super matter. We'll see. First thing I'm going to do is lay eggs. See how the board resets. The board, there's no board here. See how the deck and the bird feeder reset. And then I'll figure out for my last turn. If we were playing in person, I would be encouraging people to articulate what they're doing and explaining how their powers are working. 1, because it just gets boring to sit there in silence. And 2, because some of these engine builders can be kind of complicated. And it's nice to just double check everyone's logic. They might make a mistake that they don't realize. They're not trying to cheat or anything like that. But, oh, you can't do this because this doesn't count towards that or whatever. They might be explaining a thing that gives you ideas to figure out your own engine. Maybe not this game, but in the next game. So just like I'm talking a lot right now, I encourage other people to talk when they play this game as well. Or any game. Where are we at with the turns? It is my turn. That's where we're at. So let us... Ooh. What are you? What's your deal? But I don't like his nest. Nope, I don't like the nest. I'm just going to lay eggs on birds. Click, click. We're aiming for this second round goal. So we're going to spread them out against these. We're not going to put them in the same one. What food don't I need? I don't think I need this rat. So we're going to discard the rat, and I'm going to put them here. So I laid 3 eggs. I'm laying them out separately because it's not worried about my total eggs. It's worried about the number of birds with those eggs. And now you can see here, as I confirm my turn, that when we look towards this end of round scoring, I actually am starting to pull away. So I'm in a good spot there. Chatting through actions definitely helps lots with these games with lower player interactivity like Wingspan. I agree, Board Gaming Bud. These aren't my favorite games necessarily to play in person. I enjoy, and maybe that's because what you're saying doesn't happen as much as I'd like it to. In this internal monologue that I have, hopefully it's not too annoying for you guys to hear it out loud, but I find a lot of people don't talk through their turns enough when they're playing, and it becomes too solitary. And if it's supposed to be a social game night, then what are we really doing? But that's just my perspective. This is a super popular game. It is pretty accessible. I know it can seem intimidating. If you guys are recreational gamers, you haven't dipped your toes into the pool of some of these more complicated games yet. But, you know, by the end of this game, you should be like, okay, now I get it. Maybe you're not quite ready to teach yet, but the second time you play, you're going to understand what's going on. Maybe you feel like you're ready to read the rule book and put that against your mental model of what you just did. And could teach it. Always got to keep an eye on my time, 1:47. Okay, 1 hour left. I don't think it truly matters. Maybe I'll put down another bird. No, see, I don't want to put down another bird because see, that guy just caught me. So if I played a bird here, I have to pay an egg to do it, which means I'm going to drop down here and not win that round. So right now, I'm at least tied for that round. Let's do a little bit of screen watching. Let's see if anyone else has the ability to add any more. This guy's maxed out. So I'm looking for birds with compatible nests like this one that doesn't have any egg. So that guy's done. This guy has 1. Purple, I'm not worried about purple. I guess who I'm worried about is yellow. So yellow's done. So I'm going to tie yellow. That's fine. So what do we want to do here? Let us stacking eggs, man. Let's get some more eggs going here. This will matter towards the end of the game. I haven't said it yet, but at the end of the game, all eggs are worth 1 victory point. So you'll see like the round, all people are going to do is lay eggs. So it looks like someone else, this is another reason why you need to articulate your turns, because sometimes people have powers that are activated when you do stuff. And as a courtesy, you want to explain what you're doing and give a pause to let people react. So if I had just done this really quick and I went here, eggs, your turn now, whomever, don't know what that name is. This person wouldn't be able to, they wouldn't notice that they're supposed to be doing their turn. And that's a dick move. Okay, so we're keeping pace in terms of points. This round victory is going to help. We'll see. We're doing okay. None of these guys have crazy high elos, so I'm not super intimidated. But then again, mine's only 100. I played this game several times. I just don't play a lot. And when I do, I like to play people who are really good. So my elo doesn't always go up very high. So ignore what I just said about them not being intimidating. They could be great. Just waiting for this last guy to finish up, and then I'll do end of round bookkeeping. It'll take one of these cubes here. It'll score this round. You can see they're hollow now because it's theoretical. And then the next time we'll only have 6 actions for round 3. And we're in pretty good shape for round 3, although I'm dumb and I forgot to put an egg here. But there'll be eggs in these bowl nests, and I do have this wild nest. So I have a total of 4 available. I'd like to get 3rd. I don't see one. That's not super. So maybe I'd snatch that bowl nest, but I'm going last, so I don't know if I can. We'll see. While they're thinking, let's look at other people's boards and see how many bowl nests we have. This guy has 2 bowl nests, 6 total eggs, so he's going to beat me. This guy has a wild with 2 total eggs, so I'm currently beating. 1, 2 bowls, and a wild. That guy has a bunch. That is 3 plus 2 plus 4, 7. All right, so I'm going to need some more there, unless I want to punt again. What does 3rd place get? 3rd place gets 2. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, they're going to split these points, so... Well, actually, that's me right now. It's not going to stay me, but whomever's in 1st might split the points, and then getting 2 or 3 isn't a huge deal. So these variable in-round goals are good because they kind of sense a direction where you want to go with the game. These change, by the way. These are little tiles, and you shuffle them up in a bag, and then you just put out 4 random ones in a random order. So these are good because they give you a target to go towards. But, you know, at the end of the world, they're not all your points, so you don't need to completely overthink them. All right, now I'm choosing from the bird feeder. What do I need? Remember, I get wheat automatically. I have a grub. That guy wants a cherry, so let's take the cherry. Remember, I get wheat for free from this guy right here. See, I like it when it starts to slow down a little bit. Not too much. Like, you should take in 2 or 3 minutes per turn. I say as I'm taking 2 to 3 minutes per turn, but that's because I'm doing other things. But you do want a chance to breathe. Like, I was trying to show that game in the beginning, and it was rapid fire. I don't know if it was just replaying the game really fast, but things were just flying around, and that was kind of what I was trying to teach. So I'll try and find a better way to do that. Maybe I'll find an asynchronous game that's not actively moving as the next time I one of those games in progress. But we don't need to race through these. So it's the other side of the coin, right? Don't take forever to do your turn, but also, you know, get a chance to breathe. Don't GLHF me. I don't know. I got a feeling it's something that if I figure out the acronym, I shouldn't say it out loud. I see a bull nest. I'm going to take that if he doesn't. And I'll have lots of bird cards. I can start tucking them. I can start exchanging them. 6 actions. Let's draw bird cards. Give me this guy. I need another bull nest. I don't think I'm going to discard because I got birds. I got birds for days. So I'm not going to do this optional bottom action here. I'm going to keep the egg. Now everyone gets to draw one from the deck. I don't know how in love I am with this. Playing a mutually beneficial card like that so early, I am really losing my advantage here in this draw birds row. Because every single time I've drawn birds, I've let everyone else draw birds as well. And that might slow down my engine. You can see that whoever that person is gets to do the same thing I did, where now they have an option to keep an extra end of game scoring card. Very cool. Which reminds me, I should start looking at these to figure out which ones I'm going to play based on what they count towards. So I think I want to focus on the anatomist first. Does this guy count towards the anatomist? Wait, that's not the bowl one. This is the bowl one. What's the historian? I don't have the historian. Okay. Remind me not to discard these 2 right here because they're going to count towards my anatomist. I actually have enough to get the full 7 there. I didn't think I was going to. That's really interesting. Probably do this guy next. I like this guy. I'm getting good vibes from this guy. Ooh. I don't know, because in-round goals. This is a really good synergy with my other power. This is speaking to me for some reason. I'm going to play this guy. Because every time I discard a seed, I'm going to get to do a thing. But then remember up here, I'm getting free seeds. So let's take away a bird egg. It automatically does my food for me, except now I need to pay a wild food. That's what this symbol is right here. And so I will take the cherry because I want to use the grub elsewhere. So I'll click that. He's going to go there. Excuse me. Yes, I don't normally have a ton of birds in my hand either. That's why at the beginning of the game, I have final scoring card that was like, you get a point for each bird left in your hand at the end of the game. I was like, well, that's not my play style, so that's not going to be valuable for me. But I just feel like early on, I wasn't getting the bird cards I wanted that corresponded to some of my goals. And so I just needed to start spamming them. And now it's worked out pretty well that I can kind of be drawing bird cards, which is good. Although I say that, and I just got one that's only activated when I draw a bird card. So we'll see. There's no optimal way to play this game. There might be, but there's a lot of different ways you can play this game, and that can make it a lot of fun. That's another thing I'll do when I play games. I'll just try a random strategy. It's not that I'm not trying to win. It's like I know a strat that works really well, and I do all the time, and I'm just bored and I don't feel like doing it. So, like I said before, I normally like to gain a lot of food, so maybe I will try and max out this top row. And maybe I'm like, screw it. Let me use this middle row. Maybe I got that card and I just felt inspired to that. Sorry, I should say, I got this final scoring card that looks at my column. So maybe now I'm inspired to build out evenly. Haha! Now they match, so I get to reroll. I was gonna choose one of those two, but remember, because they all match, 2 cherries, I get to reroll. Now, what do I want? Honestly, I probably wanted the cherry. No, let's get some wheat. So we'll take the variable one, because screw everybody else, and we'll take the wheat off of it. Where are we at? 4 actions left this round. Let's remind ourselves what we gotta do. We need eggs in bowl nest. So that's total eggs. That's not distinct cards. So I need to get this guy down, which I can. Okay. So I'll put that guy down. I have the wheat. I have the wild card food for that. He goes there. That helps my ecologist, because then my fewest habitat birds is 2. So that's good. And then I can start spamming eggs for a little bit. So we're looking good. I still have 0 for the anatomist, but I have the cards in my hand. I thought I had 4. Did I miscount that? Not that I might have miscounted. That counts towards the anatomist. That counts. Okay, so I have 3. Okay, so I'll put 2 of those down and then pause. Because if I don't think I can get that 4th one to jump from 3 to 7 points, then I don't want to waste a turn and part of my engine putting the 3rd one down. So I'm glad I recounted, because I thought I had 4 of those and I was going to lean into it for a second. But I am not going to do that now. But I guess we're putting some birds down because people are passing me in terms of score. Because let's see, I have 5. That guy has 7, 8. Yeah, I'm definitely on birds right now, but that's okay. That not for long. How about right now? So we play this guy because he's the one. Let me double check. Yep, that's the round 3 goal. So we got to get rid of an egg. Doesn't matter. Those all don't matter. Confirm my food cost. That bird goes down. Bloop. Wasn't super valuable, but it's keeping me in good shape for here. Okay, so I have 3 actions left. How many total bull egg slots do I have? I have 1, 2 open here, 2 open here, 3 open here, so 7 total. So I had 2 of these 3 actions, I'm gonna lay eggs. I don't know about the 3rd action. I don't know if I care enough to get that 7th egg, but at least 2 of these 3, I'm gonna put towards laying eggs. But then I need some food. Honestly, this is the least amount of birds I've ever had. I normally do a lot more birding than this. But hopefully other people have to start thinking about adding more cards to their hand. No, because this person has 3, 5, and 2, so I don't know. Oh, yes. Okay, always reorder cards, because every time I do this card, I can tuck a card behind this bird, which is worth a point, and I can add an egg to this bird. So what that tells me is when I'm adding my eggs on this next turn, I don't want to add them immediately here. I want to leave these spaces open, because this card potentially gets me 3 free eggs. But if I block them with the eggs I'm getting already, then those spots aren't available. So I'm glad I double read that. But you can also see why there's not a lot of talking in this game a lot of the time. Because even with this digital production and all these tooltips to remind me of stuff, I'm still like, what does this guy do? What powers do I have available here? And I know this can sound overwhelming at first and intimidating, but it's a lot of fun. How is it only that person? I feel like it's been a couple of minutes. I guess I'm not the only slow player in this round. Play some eggs. Remember, we don't want to do this. Oh, that guy's already maxed out. I totally misread that. Okay, interesting, Brad. This influences my choice. So I'm going to put 2 here, 1 here. So everything I said still applies. I just can't do it as many times as I thought. This guy, play a 2nd bird, pay its normal cost. Ooh, but I want to get rid of you. Oh no. Okay, I like the card, so I'm probably going to get rid of one of these guys. We're just going to look at their point to cost ratios real quick. So these cost 2 food. This costs 1, but he's only worth 1. All right, yeah, you can. I'm going to tuck that guy, get that 2nd egg. See how it automatically populated it there? This one doesn't do anything. Now I'm going to confirm my turn. These guys are really cool because it lets you play 2 birds at once, which is going to be really valuable coming up here. So I'm going to start thinking about what food I need to do that. This guy only needs 1 food. And then these guys need 2 food. So let me start stacking up the food I'm gonna need there. And then hopefully I'll be able to play 2 birds in 1 turn. Just double checking here. So I'm currently getting 4 victory points for this card and 0 victory points for this card. But I'm about to put 1 down there. So this is okay. So you guys remember I was allowed before that I probably wouldn't go for the 3 anatomous birds because I didn't think I could get the 4. So I probably want to stop at the 2 threshold. And so that's why I chose the bird I did to tuck behind that guy. It was one of those 3. So now the choice is out of my hands. All right, what was I trying to do here? I'm pretty much maxed out on eggs. Okay, I gotta be careful here because I don't want to start playing birds and losing these eggs. Although, what eggs don't I care about? I don't care about that egg and I don't care about that egg. So strike that. Let me get food first and then we'll make some decisions. I needed the cherry. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna reroll. We are now committed. I need that grub. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I can afford this bird. And now I'll confirm the dice selection. Moves to here. Nothing's gonna happen for this guy. Moves to here. Ah, shoot. I had to tuck a bird. No. Okay, now I gotta quickly look and see if any of these can fulfill my anatomist card. Screw it. No, nope. Skip sense here. The option was tuck a card there. I would get a point for that at the end of the game, and then I would get that seed I wanted. But I didn't want to take the risk of not getting another anatomist card and not being able to score 3 points for this end of game card. And all of a sudden I had a million birds in my hand and now it just feels like I don't necessarily have enough. Curious if this counts my tucked cards as well. Let's do it. So 43, I'm not gonna do the math. I don't know. It'll be a surprise. Maybe if someone in the chat knows, they can tell me. I know this doesn't have this scoring right here, the current round goal. I don't know if this has my cards as well, but we can find out at the end of the game. Last action. So I want to look at this. Oh, I'm going last. Perfect. So this lets me know what leeway I have in terms of sacrificing eggs for this scoring. So what do I do if I don't lay the eggs? Do I draw more bird cards? Maybe I draw more bird cards. We shall see. Actually, I'll probably lay eggs because eggs are going to be valuable later, both in terms of my ability to pay them, do other stuff, but also remember they're worth a point each at the end of the game. So I got a feeling that even though I'm going to be maxed out at this round, I will probably still just bank the eggs for the future. Because 1, 2, yeah, I've got enough space for them. Actually, I don't. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, decisions. I mean, not to lay eggs because I want to bump this stupid guy from catching me here. That guy drew a bird. Interesting. So he's not laying eggs, so he's not trying. Red. Let's peek at Red's board. Oh, I mean, it doesn't matter because he's not going to lay 6 eggs in this turn. So, okay, so I'm going to lay eggs. I'm actually going to lose an egg here by doing that, which I don't love. But it's -1 point for that egg, but it's going to be +2. It's going to be plus a lot of points because I'm going to break this tie. So instead of each of us getting 4, remember, that's the 6 plus 3 for second, divided by 2 rounded down. So 9 down to 8 divided by 2. Instead of 4 each, I get 6 and he gets 3, and that's a huge jump. So that's probably what I'll do. Yep, so I'm tied with him. So we're going to lay some eggs. We're going to lay it here. Oh no, I was incorrect. It's not a waste of an egg. I thought I had 1 space. I was not. Now I got decisions to make here. Okay, let's undo that. I'm still going to lay eggs. I'm just going to lay 1 here because I don't want to tuck either of those cards. Poop. So I'm not getting that egg back, but see how I broke the tie here? So I get 6 points and this person gets 3. You may tuck 1 from your hand. I already said no, I don't want to do that. That guy doesn't have any benefits. Confirm my turn. Give me those points. Yeah, so we're case. And now we're off to a good start in this last round. Gotta start scoring for this anatomist card though. I have 0 points for that. That's wild. I probably will punt on this. I don't know if there's enough actions left to put 3 birds down and focus on eggs in this section right here. So I'll probably max out at 2 there. That's okay. That guy can go there. That's very good. All right, so first action is gonna be to get food. So I'm gonna make sure I have enough food for all 3 of these guys. So this guy needs a grub and a cherry. This guy needs a lot of options. This guy needs a grub and a wheat. So I have a grub and a cherry. I need another grub. I need a wheat. And then I need 1 of these 3. So I need a bunch of food. I might not have enough. We'll see. I don't know. This last round is always really interesting because you have a bunch you want to do and you have a lot you can do, but you just run out of stuff to do it with. So this is the one that lets me play a second bird. So I am going to reroll. I'm going to gain food and I'm going to reroll. Because I have this payment, I need one of these three for another payment. And so we will take 2 grubs. I'll pay for him for a grub, and then I have this grub for this guy over here. And then we'll confirm that. Oh, crap. Do I punt on this? I will only punt on this if I see an anatomous bird here. God damn it. Okay. Well, I'm not going to super worry about it. I will decide not to tuck here. Ugh. I'm not taking advantage of my full engine, and it might come back to bite me. So there's been a couple of times where I chose not to tuck a card or lay another egg, and those points add up throughout the game. You know, playing in the last round that lets you tuck every time you activate, not super valuable. Playing that as my first bird was really valuable, but looking back, I wish I had tucked more than 3 cards there. But I just didn't have the cards to get rid of. I feel like I had a lot of cards earlier, but now I don't. So my next action, I'm going to play both of these birds down. I'm going to lose a bunch of eggs from other stuff. That's okay. I need 1 more food, I believe, for this guy. I've got the grub, and I need the... I keep saying wheat. I don't care. The seed. So I'll have to take 1 more food action. I don't love that. But I need eggs in this central area to break this tie. Is this my anatomous bird? It's also my anatomous bird, so I definitely need to play him. Okay. So I got 4 turns, we're gonna play birds, we're gonna get food after that for sure. And then honestly, the last turn will probably just be get more eggs. And then yeah, because then I'll have that covered. That extra food that I don't necessarily need, I can exchange for another egg. Okay, we should have an okay endgame here. We'll see. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Now I don't have to take that extra action. That was amazing. Let me double check and make sure that's correct. So I got a grub and a cherry for that guy. I got a grub for that guy. And then I got a grub and a seed for that guy. Thank you. Thank you, person, for finally paying it forward. They're giving you all so many free bird cards. I really needed that food. That was huge. We're almost done here, guys. I thought about starting my own game for a 3-person game because those can go a little quicker. But, you know, a 34-person game there. I'll see how long it takes. I was hoping to get another game in tonight. Probably not going to happen now. But, you know, that's how... If anything, that extra time gave me more time to talk through this game, so maybe that's a net positive. Maybe I'll sneak another non-live stream recording for the other game that I wanted to talk through today. So these scores are looking pretty tight. I'm hoping that these 8 points I'm going to drop will make my score look a little better. I remember I'm going to lose a couple points for the eggs, so I'll be +8 -3, so +5. So I'll jump up to 57. I think we're in okay shape here. All right, first thing we're doing is we're playing a bird, and we're gonna play this bird that lets me play a second bird. So this guy goes here. Gotta get rid of eggs first. That egg can go, I don't care about that egg. Let me double check my math here, then I'm gonna use a grub because I need a cherry over here, I need grub and seed over here. So yes, that's correct. Always double check your math. Now, his benefit is I get to play a second bird right there, which is amazing. Which one do I do? This guy, he's worth more points and he counts towards the anatomist. So click, buy the eggs, confirm that food cost. Give me those points. Let's go. Still doing good here. And so I will lay that bird down on my next turn. Then I'll get eggs. So those are probably my last 3 turns. So play this bird here, then just get a bunch of eggs. Although I won't have the food to exchange there, but that's okay. And hopefully that breaks that tie for the round 4 scoring. Guys, remember how I said that these mid-round scores, these like per rounds aren't the end of the world, and now they're the only thing keeping me in the game? Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. And this is where I start to get impatient. Like your last round, you kind of know what you're gonna do. You're gonna figure out the last bird you want to play. You're gonna figure out what food you need for that bird, and then you're gonna lay a lot of eggs. So you should be able to work backwards from there. But that's okay. We don't need to be cranky about it. Another interesting thing to note while I've got a second here is, remember, it costs eggs to lay birds in these more advanced columns. And so you want to cross-reference that with the bird you actually have. So this bird's only worth 3 points. If, let's say I wanted to lay him here, that would cost me 2 eggs. It would cost me 2 points to get 3. That wouldn't be super efficient. As it stands, I'm going to put him here, and it's going to cost me 1 egg to 1 point to get 3 points, which isn't great, but he's going to count towards this end of round goal, so I have to do it. So we'll take that egg, confirm his food cost. Dark-eyed, what's his name? Dark-eyed Junko? He's not particularly sexy. I've seen sexier birds. Cool, 2 turns left. Probably just get eggs for both of them. Do I have 6 egg slots? Yes, I do. So we'll start by putting them here. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And then 1, 2 somewhere else, doesn't matter. And maybe that just means I will tie this blue guy. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't a ton of birds this game. 9 is not that many. Listen, starter shot, I entertain myself. Like I said, part of the fun of this game is to objectify the birds. It's not all about these arbitrary points that society tells you is how birds should be scored. Sometimes I want pretty birds with pretty colors. Look at this guy, this pine siskin. That is a gorgeous bird compared to this guy. This looks like it's a dirty pigeon or something. It is wild how long these last turns are taking. Like, you should know what you're doing at this point. But my turns are pretty easy from here on out. I'm just laying a bunch of eggs. I'm gonna get 6 more points. I'm hopefully gonna at least tie this blue person and we will split 11 points, but we'll see. But blue person only has 1 final scoring card. That's interesting. That might be a difference maker. Come on, lay your eggs. I know, thank you. That's all we're doing is we're laying eggs. So this is cool. So I was asking before what has already been scored, and so we can see here. So tuck cards are already scored, eggs are already scored, bonus cards have not been scored. So those are your final. So my question was this one already added to my total? And it looks like it was. Now how do I hide that? Because that's ugly and I don't want to see it anymore. Lay eggs on birds. Remember the last round, total eggs in the whatever this yellow thing is. So do that. And just like that, we're in a tie there. Pretty simple turn. That's all everyone should be doing on the last few turns is just laying eggs because they're worth a point. A lot of these games, whatever your leftover resources are, they're worth like a point 3 or 4. A 1-to-1 ratio is pretty crazy. And so the last round of this game is honestly, half of it's just laying eggs. So it can be kind of uneventful. So I'm in pretty good shape here to get this tied bonus with this guy. I don't know what this final game is going to look like. I wish I had tucked more cards. That's all I know. I think I let Board Gaming Bud get in my head. He was like, you have a lot of cards. And then I stopped getting new cards. And there's been a bunch of cases where I wanted more cards. So it's all your fault, Board Gaming Bud. That's weird. I'm not super worried about what everyone's doing now. When in doubt, blame Board Gaming Bud. Exactly. I'm not going to take responsibility for myself. What part of this setup makes you guys think that I'm a good sport? And that I want everyone to have a good time? Does not compute. Okay, so I'd like that I'm going to be in last place for a total number of points going into this. I'm not too far behind, but I'm definitely in last. So this is going to be a tight game, and I got a feeling that I lost. But, oh well. It's Gaming Bud's fault. Guys, come on. What are, like... I'm actually pretty patient around the table for the most part, but this is a situation where like you all know what you should be doing at this point. We should not be taking 2 minutes per turn here. Yeah. Did you card? Do you have that last bird you're trying to play? Or are you just spamming eggs? All right, so I am spamming eggs. Unfortunately, I can't do that to break the tiebreak. Oh my goodness, red freaking jumped us for this round 4 goal. Didn't see that coming. Oh well. Laying eggs, I think I might have gotten last. We'll see. Drum roll, please. Oh, wait. Wow, ruined that suspense. One more turn and then drum roll. That's a pretty hefty score. This guy seems like he might have won. Updating, confirm your turn, and then we do some math, and then we'll see how everybody did. And so when you play in person, you have this little worksheet right here. And you kind of count it. But luckily, we don't have to do that. 82. I don't think I have 82. We're going to find out. See, 40 for birds. I think that's where I lost it. I didn't play a lot of birds this game. 7 on bonus, I'm happy with. No food left. Didn't tuck enough cards. Yeah. If you looked over to the side, it's like erasing your and then recounting it. So, yeah. I had a feeling that guy was going to win based on everything he had. Did I get 3rd at least? Or did I get dead last? You know, the end game animation is not necessary. The sad. Let me go back to the final situation. We'll just look at the scorecard here. So I was pretty close. I wasn't as far back as I thought I was. Could have played some more birds. I think it was the tuck that really screwed me. I played 2 tuck bonus cards really early that every time I activate I can tuck, and I didn't take advantage of them. I could have seen at least 5 or 6 more points there. That would have been helpful. But yeah, overall competitive game. I'm okay with that score. This is a fun game. I like this game. Thank you, Wingspan #1 in hearts. Thank you, Starter Shot. I try my best. My excuse that I'm trying to articulate the game, so I'm not super focused on my strategy as much as I could be. But also, you know, it's a game. It's also possible that people are just better than me at the game. That's okay. That doesn't affect my life. I can still play that game and have fun. So hope you guys had fun watching this game. Hope you guys had fun learning along. Stream setup is a little better this week. I added some more soundproofing. I got a better camera angle here. Guys, let me know in the comments on YouTube what other I can make. My goal is to make the stream 5% better each week. I'm gonna do a little bit of a better job editing every time. I've got a bunch of sticky notes for myself here based on how I can be clear in explaining the game. So this is only episode 2. Hopefully it was better than episode 1. Let me know what I can do to make episode 3 better. I have a lot of fun doing this. I love playing these games. I love sharing these games. I love teaching and taking things that, you know, some people in the chat here, I play games with offline. So they're experienced gamers. But if anybody's watching this who isn't a heavy gamer and sees a game like this and finds it intimidating, hopefully this makes it more approachable. Yeah, maybe you're getting your butt kicked the first time you play as you're figuring it out, but it's a fun game with lots of replayability, lots of different strategies you can take. This game has 2 other variants. This one is the birds. I have the version that you're playing with dragons, and then they came out with a version this year with fish that I haven't played yet. But this is one of the most popular games out there right now. Lots of cool different ways to play. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching. I will catch you in the next one.